What are we gonna do tonight, O.C.G?
Well, the same thing we try to do every night, Bertram. Take over the world. I mean, YouTube. Take over YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / Bucktotem Bertram. Say hello, Bertram.
Hello, Bertram.
And this is my review for Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade. So my friends, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade released on June 10th and is the PlayStation 5 version of the Final Fantasy VII Remake that released last year. Now, as some of you might be aware, Final Fantasy VII Remake was my game of the year for 2020, and as such, I believe this review for the PlayStation 5 version must be treated with dignity, with grace. Every word I utter must be sophisticated and mature, and above all else, I must refrain from making any unnecessary jokes or smutty remarks. And on that basis, let me just say that it is bloody hot where I'm at the moment. Therefore, I am recording this review while in the nude. So, before we properly begin, let me tell you a story, dear viewer. Back in 1997, when I was younger than I am now, and my penis was just starting to grow, I asked my father to buy for me Final Fantasy VII, which had just released. Now, I excitedly awaited his return, chasing my sibling around our home with a knife while wearing a Jason Voorhees mask to pass the time.
Oh, I remember their funeral. 'Twas a tacky affair.
'Twas that, Bertram. So anyway, my father returns with a PlayStation game under his arm. I grab it from him, as was customary in those days, and scream in horror as I beheld not Final Fantasy VII, the game I had dreamed of owning, but Skull Monkeys. Fucking Skull Monkeys!
Is that a real game?
Oh, it's much worse than that, Bertram. It's a nightmare!
So, what did you do?
Well, I did what any spoiled child would do. I beat him over the head with the game until blood came out of his ears. And then I took said game and traded it in at my local gaming boutique for a copy of Final Fantasy VII. You know, I never knew what an orgasm was until I took that game home and gently inserted it into my PlayStation. 'Twas then I realized I had also asked my father to purchase a PlayStation, and he fucking forgot!
So what did you insert the disc into?
The cat never forgave me, Bertram. But it's not all doom and gloom. Once my father recovered, he went and purchased that PlayStation, and I played Final Fantasy VII. The rest, as they say, is history.
Ah, what a lovely story.
But we are not here to discuss the original Final Fantasy VII. No. We are here to discuss the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, story. Now, you should have already played the original game, or even better yet, this game, and therefore should already know what the story is. If you have not, then you should be damned ashamed of yourself, and as penance, I suggest you stick your head in the toilet and flush it not once, not twice, but 3 times. What I can say, however, is that this game is not a remake. No. It is in fact a sequel.
In your opinion?
Yes, but as we both know, my opinion is the only opinion, and therefore I am about to say it can be relied upon and is 108% true.
There's no such thing as 108%.
Shut up, Bertram! Now, this game is not a remake or a reboot. This game is a sequel. But how can you know that, O.C.G, you handsome bastard? Well, let's discuss. Throughout this game, you will notice at points that Cloud experiences a kind of vision where he will remember events from his past, and even certain events from the original game. Things like the death of his mother, the burning of Nibelheim, the reunion, Sephiroth, and even the death of Aerith. Something that has not happened yet in this particular game. Therefore, I am of the opinion that these are not simply visions, but premonitions, or, even better yet, memories. Oh, but how can that be, O.C.G, you talented bastard? Well, it's quite simple, dear viewer. Sephiroth, knowing he will be defeated at the end of Advent Children, travels back in time using that car thing from Back to the Future, so that he can change the events of the original game and thus win.
There's so much about what you just said that has me confused. Let's start with Advent Children.
You know, the CGI movie sequel to the original Final Fantasy VII.
Well, what about the car thing from Back to the Future?
Well, I just wanted to reference that film. All I meant was that Sephiroth has found a way to travel back in time. This is just a theory, but as you'll know if you've played this game to completion, which of course you bloody have, you'll know that certain characters who died in the original game are in fact alive here, and there are little moments where it seems that Aerith knows exactly what's going on. So what this means going forward with the next part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake/sequel is the very real possibility that Aerith will not die. In fact, I think, and when I say I think, I really mean I know, that Tifa will die there instead, which would be a terrible shame. Her cleavage would be missed.
This all sounds very far-fetched.
But didn't they once say that about multiple orgasms, Bertram?
I have absolutely no idea how to respond to that. Have you considered the possibility that the events of this game are simply happening in an alternate reality of the original?
Well, I did consider that, but then I realized that I like my theory more.
Oh, I see. Well, you're probably correct.
probably correct.
Oh, I mean, definitely correct.
Well, thank you, Bertram. Now, I don't usually talk about characterization or writing in these little game reviews of mine. Mostly because I don't think you commoners will appreciate that kind of analysis. After all, you are the type of people who get their novels from the bottom of bloody cereal boxes.
I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Really? Damn. So, let's talk about the game's writing and characters. All I can say is, bravo.
A bra?
No, Bertram. Bravo. Now, finally being able to see these iconic scenes from the original game, not only in glorious 4K next-gen graphics, but with voice acting. And not just any voice acting like you might find in a tampon advert or pornographic film. No. Great voice acting. Everyone did a great job. Now a special shout out to Miss Brianna White, who is Aerith. Actually Aerith. Not a middle-aged fat geek at a Comic-Con dressed up like Aerith. No, she is Aerith. And her relationship with Cloud in this game is so damn sweet, it might just give me diabetes. In fact, all of the relationships in this game are 10 times better than they were in the original. Cloud and Barrett, Cloud and Aerith, Cloud and Tifa, and of course, Cloud and Sephiroth. How the hell could I neglect to mention Sephiroth before now? Every single one of his scenes gave me a tingle I haven't felt since I accidentally got my DualShock 4 controller stuck up my backside.
Accidentally?
You know, accidentally, on purpose, same thing.
And, is there any standout characters?
Well, I do love Barrett. Which is surprising because Barrett is not someone I would befriend in real life. I'm not fond of his kind.
What do you mean, his kind?
Well, you know.
No, I don't know. I hope you're not going to say what I think you're going to say. You know, they've endured persecution for hundreds of years. Not to mention all the funny looks they get in the streets.
Oh no, you've figured it out.
Well, then say it.
Fine. I am not particularly fond of people who have gun arms.
You monster!
I know. I am so ashamed.
I don't know you at all. Next you'll be telling me you made love to my mummy.
Well...
You fucking monster!
Well, if it's any consolation, Bertram, she was garbage. I've absolutely no idea how your father put up with her for all of these years. Moving on. Now, even characters like Jessie, Biggs, and Wedge are fleshed out.
Fleshed out? Were they skeletons in the original game?
Shut up, Bertram! I am, officially, in love with Jessie now.
Does, Mrs. O.C.G. know? Ow!
Jessie has an actual backstory now, and her relationship with Cloud is very High School Musical, but very funny and endearing, and this makes her eventual fate all the more upsetting.
Oh my god! She goes the way of Jack in Titanic, doesn't she?
Bertram, that reference hasn't been relevant since bloody 1997, which coincidentally is when the original Final Fantasy VII released.
I know, but it's still sad though.
I agree. Life hasn't been the same since Jack was taken from us. If only he got on the bloody door.
Damn that door!
Yes, damn it to hell. Moving on. Now, one of the more famous sequences in the original game is the Wall Market section. It's here we meet Final Fantasy VII's resident pervert, Don Corneo. A fat, disgusting, loathsome creature who auditions girls to be the next Mrs. Corneo.
Fat? Loathsome? That sounds like you.
How? Thank you, Bertram. What?
Well, you know, you have to admit you are very similar. Auditions girls to be his wife. Remind me again how you met your last wife?
Bertram, I would never do something so base, so inhumane as auditioning girls like they're Marilyn Monroe or something. No, my methods are much more tasteful.
And they are?
Buy them on the internet, of course. Or walk up to them in the local drinking establishment, hit them over the head with a bat or club, thus inducing a concussion. Then, when they wake up, convince them that you are already their husband.
Oh, you're such a romantic.
Well, thank you, Bertram. Speaking of the Wall Market sequence, I must admit, seeing Cloud in a dress made my underpants move in a way I haven't felt since I had a mouse living in there. Don't ask. So, music. Now, the music has been completely reorchestrated, rewritten, rearranged.
Oh, a lot of rees.
Shut up, Bertram, or I'll have revenge upon you. Did you enjoy that? You know, revenge.
Oh, yes, it was really good.
Should we re-record this section?
There's no need to redo it.
Well, I guess there's no reason.
No, I'm going to watch Reanimator tonight.
Haha, good one, Bertram, good one.
No, I'm actually going to watch Reanimator tonight.
Well, bully for you. What was I even talking about? Oh yes, the music. Now, Nobuo Uematsu's music has never sounded better. The soundtrack for this game is so good. I play it when I'm writing, when I'm editing these videos, when I'm in the shower.
Oh, and when you poo-poo.
Thank you, Bertram, for once again lowering the tone.
Whoops.
The point I'm making is, the music is amazing. And the only other Final Fantasy that, for me, has a score anywhere near this good is Final Fantasy XV.
You, cried at that one as well.
Yes, Bertram, wait a minute. How do you know that? You know very well I always play the Final Fantasy games alone.
You told me.
I did not tell you. Wait, had I been drinking?
You're always drinking.
Yes. 'Tis a curse. Very well. You know my secret, Bertram. I cry at video games, but you must promise not to tell anyone.
But you already have told everyone. In this video.
Oh, damn it.
Well, at least it sounds like you really enjoy this game.
Bertram, when I first played this game last year, I sat on the main title screen listening to the music, and I cried. And we're not talking about a tear running down my cheek. I cried what Justin Timberlake once referred to as a river.
Wasn't there snot?
There was, Bertram, yes, there was. And I am not embarrassed to admit that. I waited 23 years for this game.
Oh, that's older than me.
What?
I said that's older than me.
Bertram, I've, been meaning to tell you this, but, now, be brave. You are not 23 years old.
What?
Hold my hand. Hold my damn hand, Bertram. Bertram, you and I, we are old. We are old as fuck.
No! Oh well.
Well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. What was I talking about? Oh yes. I waited 23 years for this game. And it was worth every damn minute of every damn day. This game is a bloody triumph. But how is the PlayStation 5 version? Well, let's discuss it, shall we?
It's a bloody triumph too, isn't it?
You have no fucking idea.
Oh, it must be. You're swearing and everything.
Well, it does sound amusing with my accent.
You mean fake accent?
Shut up, Bertram! Now, just like my second wife, this game does everything that the first game did, but just so much better. Sound, visuals, the fighting, not to mention that it was so much better in bed. Didn't snore or anything. That last one related only to my second wife and not to the game. Just in case you were wondering.
Whatever happened to your second wife?
Well, she had an unfortunate accident with a sword. Yes, her head rolled for 23 feet. Isn't that remarkable, Bertram?
Accident?
Well, you know, accident, on purpose, same thing. Now, speaking of the fighting, let me add that the combat is more fluid than a hermaphrodite's gender. Actually, no more talking. This is the greatest remake ever made, and I won't hear a word against it.
But you didn't.
Not one word.
But didn't you?
That's 3 words.
No, but.
That's 1 word.
Mm.
No, humming doesn't count either. Don't swear at me. Fine. What did you want to say, Bertram?
Didn't you say this is a sequel, not a remake?
Well, I did say that. Fine. This is the greatest sequel ever made, and I won't hear 1 word against it.
Better. 'Tis not true, but, better.
What do you know, Bertram? Up until a few weeks ago, you thought sequel was the noise a bloody mouse makes. Now, before anyone accuses me of being a Final Fantasy VII fanboy...
You're a Final Fantasy VII fanboy.
You're too late, Bertram. You should have already said that.
Oh.
Now, before anyone else accuses me of being a Final Fantasy VII fanboy, let me just say that prior to Final Fantasy XV's release, my favorite Final Fantasy game was in fact Final Fantasy VIII. So, I am not blinded by nostalgia, or the size of Sephiroth's sword, or Tifa's breasts, when I say that Final Fantasy VII Remake is my favorite Final Fantasy game to date. Not only that, but it is one of my favorite video games. Period.
Period? That's not possible! You're a man! Ow!
Therefore, I am going to score the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade an 11 out of 10. And I can score it 11 out of 10 because I said so. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My review for the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, well then, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, bell button thingy. Feel free to share this video with everyone you know. But, remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Say goodbye, Bertram.
Goodbye, Bertram!
Are you still here? Go away! I'm sure you've got something better to do with your time. No, seriously. Piss off! Be gone! Au revoir! Auf Wiedersehen! Bye! What in the hell is wrong with you? Go away! Vacate this space! Hit the cross at the top of the screen! The video is done! It's over! It's finito! It's caputo!